Travel is a search. And we're all looking for a world that's not like ours. Where we can see and live things that we never imagined. Where ancient cultures converge under the watch of pre-Hispanic gods. Crystalline beaches are just down the road from untouched mangroves. The dead and living dance in the streets splashed with color. A world that awakens the drive to explore, to imagine, to feel. This incredible and vibrant world is real. The question is not if you're interested in coming. The question is, how far will you go? Mexico, a world of its own.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. The Embassy of Mexico in Singapore is delighted to host the celebration to commemorate the 211th anniversary of the beginning of the independence of Mexico. We have the privilege to be broadcasting from the beautiful National Museum in Singapore. Built in 1849, this architectural gem is the oldest museum in the country and is dedicated to showcasing Singapore's history. The program tonight includes a welcome address by the new non-resident ambassador of Singapore to Mexico, the official ceremony with the ambassador of Mexico and our esteemed guest of honor, and last but not least, a heartwarming performance by the Ireson Latin Band. To commence this evening's program, it is our great honor to welcome His Excellency Dr. Choon, non-resident ambassador of Singapore to Mexico, to deliver an opening message.
His Excellency Ambassador Agustín García-López, Mexican residents in Singapore, our dear friends in Mexico. Allow me to extend my heartiest congratulations on the 200th anniversary of Mexico's independence, as well as the many anniversaries that Mexico is also celebrating this year, which are testament to her long and vibrant history. This is my first year joining in the festivities as Singapore's non-resident ambassador to Mexico. Unfortunately, my introductory visit to your beautiful country was hampered by the ongoing pandemic. That said, since my appointment in November 2020, I have seen firsthand the strength of the bilateral relationship that was built over many years. First and foremost, Singapore and Mexico worked hand in hand together with the other Pacific Alliance countries to conclude the Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement in July 2021. I'm excited about the prospects and opportunities that the PAS-FTA can bring and look forward to its signing in December 2021. With its signing, Singapore will become the first associate state of the Pacific Alliance. I am confident that the PAS-FTA, together with the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP, will be complementary pillars to encourage stronger business-to-business ties between our countries. I am pleased to see that business and investment interests from both countries have remained strong despite COVID-19. The number of Singapore companies operating in Mexico has steadily increased over the years, with many well-known Singapore companies having a presence in Mexico, such as Tree in hospitality, GIC in project investments, Keppel Offshore and Marine in oil and gas floating platforms, and Shopee in e-commerce amongst others. Sabana Jurong master planning of the Inter-Oceanic Corridor has also recently been completed. In this vein, I applaud Ambassador García-López and the business community for galvanizing efforts to establish a Mexican Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, to spur business and investment interest in Mexico and vice versa. There is commercial interest from Singapore companies to engage Mexico in technology, manufacturing, trade, and infrastructure sectors. Last but not least, people-to-people exchanges remain important in building mutual understanding between our peoples. I understand there are a slew of cultural events such as the Caribbean and Mexican Film Festival, the Food Festival, and the exhibition on the Day of the Dead, or Dia de Muertos, at the National Museum have all been lined up. I have personally been privileged to sample the wide arrays of mezcals, tacos, and hope to enjoy the highly prized Mexican abalone soon. Not long ago, Ambassador Agustín and myself had the privilege to savor a fusion of Southeast Asian cuisine and Mexican mole prepared by Faye, a young Singaporean chef. I also look forward to the Great Mexican Potluck at Dempsey, curated by Madame Katia. Such activities add texture to our bilateral relations and help Singapore citizens and residents understand more about Mexico's rich history and culture. I wish to express my appreciation to Ambassador García-López, who has been a great friend to Singapore during his tenure. To our friends in Mexico, I look forward to visiting your beautiful country very soon. La soberanía dimana del pueblo, which means sovereignty comes immediately from the people. As I close, let us not forget the wise words from José María Morelos y Pavón as we continue to work for the benefit of our peoples. Viva Mexico! Viva Singapore! Thank you.
Now, we will proceed with the official ceremony. We invite His Excellency Mr. Agustín García-López Loaesa, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United Mexican States to the Republic of Singapore, to deliver his speech.
His Excellency Chee, Senior Minister of State for Transport. His Excellency Dr. Choon, Northern Resident Ambassador of Singapore to Mexico. Estimados mexicanos, estimadas mexicanas, residentes en Singapur. My dear Singaporean fellows, dear partners and friends. Bienvenidos sean todos. A very good evening to you. I have the pleasure to welcome you to the virtual celebration of Mexico's National Day, our Independence Day, from the Gallery Theatre at the National Museum of Singapore. On 15 September, Mexicans worldwide are celebrating the 211th anniversary of the start of the struggle for our independence, sparked by parish priest Miguel Hidalgo in 1810, which led to our country's consummation of independence 11 years later, precisely on 1821, 200 years ago from today. Se trata, sin lugar a dudas, de la principal fiesta nacional en el calendario cívico de México. This year, the people and the government of Mexico are commemorating significant anniversaries of transcendental historical processes which have shaped and enriched our countries. 700 years of the foundation of Mexico City, then Mexico Tenochtitlan in 1321. 500 years of the fall of Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Mexica or Aztec Empire, in 1521. 200 years of the consummation of our independence in 1821. We transited to become a sovereign state. The path to build up the independent Mexican nation we have now become. Despite great challenges, Mexico has preserved the strength and diversity of its cultural and historical heritage over centuries. En Singapur, la celebración del 15 de septiembre solía ser una oportunidad sin igual de convivencia presencial, reencuentro, simbología, música, canto, danza, gastronomía, color y emoción que la pandemia por coronavirus ha trastocado. Sus efectos los vivimos todos los días, principalmente en las dificultades de viajar a México y estar cerca de nuestras familias y de nuestros amigos. The current COVID-19 situation is one of the greatest worldwide adversities in our recent history, with enormous impacts. It has exposed the vulnerabilities of individuals, societies, and economies. It has driven numerous changes to economic activities and the way society functions. And it has prompted us to rethink how to better serve and how to better protect our communities and deliver necessary services in a more efficient manner to address these challenges. En la Embajada de México hemos estado muy atentos a los diferentes efectos de esta pandemia. Por ello, en los pasados meses, creamos para ustedes en la sección consular un programa virtual de apoyo con herramientas e información relevantes sobre diferentes aspectos relativos a asuntos jurídicos, salud mental y el bienestar general, para apoyar la resiliencia personal y familiar de esta compleja etapa que nos ha tocado vivir a todos. Este programa continúa en línea para consulta de todos ustedes. The difficulty of the COVID-19 pandemic environment calls for strong responses based on solidarity, cooperation, and responsibility, but undoubtedly offers a key momentum to take bold, courageous decisions to build up a more sustainable and inclusive future. Both of our governments are advancing joint projects, promoting investments and exports to each other, building more dynamic political and social agreements, and furthering continuous and even more fluid cultural exchanges. Aprovecho la oportunidad para agradecer los esfuerzos del gobierno de Singapur para el control de contagios por coronavirus en este país, que nos ha permitido vivir la pandemia de una manera segura y ordenada. Convinced that post-crisis efforts can be turned into opportunities to improve people's lives and stimulate innovation, our government, through the Embassy of Mexico in Singapore, has been serving our Mexican community with this philosophy by working together with our Singaporean partners in key projects. That is why I am thrilled to take this opportunity to announce to you positive developments on the partnership that we have been building up together. On the economic front, I am pleased to report, after 4 years of hard work by the negotiating teams, the Pacific Alliance and Singapore have successfully concluded negotiations for the Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement, so-called PASFTA. The announcement was made by the Minister of Trade of Mexico, Colombia, Chile, Peru, and Singapore last July 2021. The imminent signature of this agreement, which is envisaged to happen at the end of this year, represents a milestone because it will allow Singapore to become the first associate state of this alliance, precisely during the 10th anniversary of the Pacific Alliance, a regional bloc which was conceived as a partnership of like-minded countries towards building robust bridges with Asia-Pacific region. The Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement goes beyond trade and economic benefits for the region. The integration will also bring improvements and bilateral collaboration and cooperation in best practices, environment, SMEs, intellectual property, institutional and legal matters, trade, defense, electronic commerce, telecommunications, maritime services, rules of origin, financial services, gender, temporary entry of people, and phytosanitary measures. Mexico will be chairing as pro tempore president of the Pacific Alliance from the term elapsing from December 2021 to December 2022, and will thus coordinate this joint effort with Singapore as the first associate state. Additionally, I would like to mention some of the most recent projects of the current bilateral economic relationship between Singapur and Mexico. Singaporean Sovereign Wealth Fund, GIC, along with infrastructure firm Abertis, finalized the acquisition of the largest Mexican toll road operator, Red de Carreteras de Occidente. The specialized media, Latin Finance, awarded this project as the Latin American Deal of the Year of 2021, a project with a couple of billion of US dollars worth of investment. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, recently the Banyan Tree Group's third hotel opened in Mexico, the last one in an hacienda in Mérida, Yucatan. The Italian company Eni, alongside with Modect from Japan and an emblematic Singaporean company, Keppel Offshore and Marine, recently delivered a state-of-the-art floating production storage and offloading vessel, so-called FPSO. It was assembled by Keppel shipyards in Singapore, and its last phase, with several of the modules manufactured and brought from Tampico, Mexico. As we speak, this specialized vessel is sailing towards the coast of Tabasco in the Gulf of Mexico. This floating production, storage, and offloading vessel will be operating for more than 20 years, producing oil and gas for the benefit of our country and international trade. During the launching ceremony of this floating vessel, the Keppel Offshore and Marine CEO highlighted that this is the 18th delivery of similar offshore and marine projects in Mexico, involving different companies, including Pemex, our state-owned company, in the last years. Likewise, I would like to point out a recent announcement from the Singapore tech unicorn SEA Group. They are launching operations of their successful e-commerce platform, Shopee, in Mexico City. We are sure they will have a success story in one of the most dynamic markets for e-commerce in the world. Also, among others, Singapore-based companies like Interplex Holdings have increased its investments in specialized manufacturing facilities in different sites of Mexico, like Tijuana and Guadalajara. These initiatives are happening due to the favorable context Mexico offers to international companies, looking to strategically increase their participation in the Mexican market, but also in our North American global value chains. The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed that food supply security in the world is an extremely fragile concept. As one of the top 10 agri-food exporting countries in the world, Mexico is working closely with Singapore to increase its supply of key agro-industrial products. I would like to share a wonderful news and a key development in our bilateral endeavors: the Singapore-Mexico Chamber of Commerce. It has been born and it has been already legally incorporated in Singapore. After being announced exactly over 1 year ago, very relevant actors of the business communities in Singapore and Mexico, on both sides of our Pacific Rim, have been working with the support of the Mexican Embassy to conceptualize and materialize this non-profit business association chartered now in Singapore. The Chamber will improve communications, promote trade, investment, innovation, best practices, and joint ventures between our entrepreneurs, companies, and business associations. This new initiative can further take us to the next level of strategic economic bilateral relations. More details and launching activities are coming soon. Additionally, I would like to share with you about the creation of the Latin American Business Group of the Singapore Business Federation, SBF. In the inaugural section of the aforementioned group, Mexico and the Pacific Alliance were chosen to be the priority markets for the term 2021-2022. So, we continue advancing with Singapore in joint projects, promoting investments and exports in both directions, more dynamic political and social agreements and dialogue, and with continuous and even more fluid cultural exchanges. In the cultural and artistic cooperation field, I must tell you that despite the pandemic that has affected Singapore and the world, the Embassy, with the support of our Singaporean counterparts, our Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Culture, and our vibrant Mexican community, we have continued our efforts to promote Mexican culture with physical and virtual events and activities, according to the evolving health situation. Together, we have not stopped. One of the most popular disciplines has been our Mexican cinematography, for which we have offered the local public several Mexican productions through the Mexican Film Festival, the Caribbean Cinema Showcase, and the Francophonie Film Festival, with our partners at the Projector, NUS Office of Alumni Relations, and our Tampines Hub, always following and respecting the safe management measures in place. On the virtual front, our cultural diplomacy offered the public a virtual exhibition on the Isthmus of Tehuantepec from October 2020 to March 2021. Also, at the Francophonie Festival of March 2021, which was dedicated to gender equality, the Embassy of Mexico contributed to organizing online activities like panel discussions and gastronomic showcases. At the National Museum, the Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos exhibition at the end of October, beginning of November 2020, was a great success. In October 2021, we will be collaborating again with our distinguished Mexican ladies and the Mexican communities in general to put together another fantastic exhibition here at the National Museum of Singapore, this time showcasing how the Mexicas, otherwise known as Aztecs, celebrated the Day of the Dead. We are also collaborating to bring another colorful and flowery exhibition with Gardens by the Bay in 2022. In the international cooperation arena, let me tell you that we are working on the consolidation and concretion of our scientific research cooperation and our academic agreements with Singaporean universities and institutes. Two of them, the National University of Singapore, NUS, and the Nanyang Technological University, NTU, which are amongst the best in the world. I want to take this opportunity to warmly welcome my friend, Dr. Choon, the new non-resident ambassador of Singapore to Mexico. Bienvenido, señor embajador. The embassy has been delighted collaborating with you even before you officially took over your new diplomatic assignment. Thank you very much to you and to your government for your overwhelming support and wonderful close collaboration. I want to express our gratitude to the Singaporean government, in particular the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Singaporean Cooperation Enterprise, for its generosity on the struggle against COVID-19 pandemics in Mexico. with a donation of 1 million surgical masks, 200,000 hand sanitizers, and 10,000 contactless forehead thermometers to Mexico City and the states of Oaxaca, Veracruz, and Guanajuato. As well, we want to thank Temasek, which has kindly offered a donation of 40 medical ventilators to fight COVID-19 pandemic in our country. I also want to express my sincere appreciation to our guest of honor, Senior Minister of State, Chee Tat, a great friend of Mexico, who visited our country accompanying Prime Ministers Lee Hsien Loong during his 2019 official visit to Mexico, for his continuous friendship and support to our bilateral relationship to keep on flourishing. This is the third time Minister Chee honors us and exalts us with his distinguished presence at our commemorative ceremonies. So thank you so much and welcome. I want to state our sincere gratitude as well to our sponsors tonight for making this virtual celebration possible. Finally, but not least, I want to express my most profound appreciation to the incredible team of the National Museum of Singapore for letting us use this wonderful space and supporting the embassy with this ceremony. My heartfelt gratitude. Muchas gracias. Following the ceremony of independence and the Grito de Dolores, we'll have the pleasure of enjoying the performances of artists of the Ireson Latin Band, our long-term talented friends, commanded by our fantastic Mexican musician, Alina Ramirez, and our singer guest from Singapore, Mr. Erick Guansing. As my friend Madame Choon Mei Quen, the director of this museum, the National Museum of Singapore, to whom we are ever grateful for her hospitality, said to me recently, "May we all emerge from this pandemic stronger and more resilient than ever before." So, let's take this opportunity to celebrate our heritage, despite the continuous challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic since early 2020. Looking forward to a prosperous future for all of us. Celebremos con orgullos todos estos siglos de historia que, de alguna u otra manera, nos identifican y cohesionan, y son la herencia cultural que portamos cada uno dentro de nosotros. Before the national anthem of Singapore, I would like to take this opportunity to wish continued good health and prosperity to Her Excellency Madame Halima Yacob, President of the Republic of Singapore. ¡Viva Singapur! ¡Viva México!
Rakyat Singapura sama-sama menuju bahagia. Cita-cita kita yang mulia, berjaya Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura. Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura.
His Excellency Ambassador Agustín García-López, Mexican residents in Singapore, our dear friends in Mexico. It gives me great pleasure to join you again this year to celebrate the 211th anniversary of Mexico's independence. I extend my warmest congratulations to the government and people of Mexico on this important occasion. Let me also take the opportunity to acknowledge that 2021 marks the 200th anniversary of the Consummation of Independence of Mexico, the 500th anniversary since the fall of Tenochtitlan, the ancient capital of the Aztec Empire, and the 700th anniversary of the founding of Mexico City. Relations between Singapore and Mexico are much younger, but the breadth and depth of our ties continue to grow year on year, underpinned by our shared commitment to a rule-based multilateral order and an open international trading system. Bilateral cooperation is strong and covers a broad range of areas from aviation, trade and investment, to food security, science and technology, education and culture, amongst others. While the COVID-19 pandemic continues to pose challenges to the return to normalcy in our lives and interactions, it has not hampered the momentum of our cooperation. Singapore and Mexico have supported each other through the pandemic to protect our populations from COVID-19. Singapore and Mexico also remain steadfast partners in maintaining global supply chains, with Mexico joining 174 other states to co-sponsor the Joint Statement on Open Markets, Flow of Essential Goods and Supply Chain Connectivity, which was initiated by Singapore in May last year at the UN General Assembly. Despite the disruptions caused by the pandemic, Mexico was Singapore's third largest trading partner in Latin America in 2020, accounting for close to Singapore dollars 5 billion worth of trade. And there's growing interest from businesses on both sides to tap the vast opportunities offered in our respective regions. Since last year's celebration of Mexico's Independence Day, I'm pleased that the key initiatives between Singapore and Mexico have made significant progress. Singapore's Sabana-Jurong completed its master planning project on the Inter-Oceanic Corridor, or IOC, in December 2020. The implementation of the project will help create many trade and investment opportunities for Singapore and Southeast Asia companies in Mexico, and open up more opportunities for Mexican companies to invest in this region. Singapore and Mexico, together with the other Pacific Alliance countries, also successfully concluded the negotiations for the Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement in July this year. This free trade agreement will strengthen the economic links between Singapore and the Pacific Alliance countries, including Mexico. It will promote further collaboration between us in areas such as infrastructure, digital economy and innovation, energy, and food trade. These achievements are a symbol of the resilience and the potential of our relationship. As the global COVID-19 situation improves and as borders gradually reopen, we also hope to have more people-to-people interactions. I look forward to the signing of the Pacific Alliance Singapore Free Trade Agreement at the end of this year, and Singapore becoming the first associate state of the Pacific Alliance. Singapore also looks forward to working closely with Mexico when it assumes the pro tempore presidency next year. In closing, I thank my good friend Ambassador García-López and his team at the Embassy of Mexico for working tirelessly to advance our bilateral relations. I look forward to even stronger ties and greater cooperation between Singapore and Mexico in the future. Before the national anthem of Mexico, I'd like to wish continued peace and good health to His Excellency Andrés Manuel López Obrador, President of the United Mexican States and the Mexican people. Antes del himno nacional de México, quisiera desear paz duradera y buena salud a su excelencia, el presidente de los Estados Unidos Mexicanos, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, y al pueblo de México. ¡Viva México! ¡Viva Singapur!
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciño patria tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios se escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con sus plantas tu suelo, piensa, oh patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Patria, patria, tus hijos te juran exhalar en tus aras su aliento, si el clarín con su bélico acento nos convoca a lidiar con valor. Para ti las guirnaldas de oliva, un recuerdo para ellos de gloria, un laurel para ti de victoria, un sepulcro para ellos de honor, un sepulcro para ellos de honor. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
We now invite His Excellency Ambassador García-López Loaiza and his wife Madam Katia Anaya de García-López to deliver the traditional Grito de Independencia, or Cry of Independence, in remembrance of the historical event that sparked Mexico's War of Independence on the 16th of September of 1810.
Mexicanas, mexicanos, ¡vivan los héroes que nos dieron patria y libertad! ¡Viva! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Hidalgo! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Morelos! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Leona Vicario! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Josefa Ortiz de Domínguez! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Allende! ¡Viva! ¡Vivan Aldama y Matamoros! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Guerrero! ¡Viva! ¡Vivan los mexicanos residentes en Singapur! ¡Viva! ¡Vivan los 200 años de independencia nacional! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la independencia nacional! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!
A Mexican celebration would not be complete without the dancing and the iconic music so unique to Mexico. Our country is so rich in culture and colorful and vibrant traditions. Therefore, we are thrilled to showcase an exceptional performance by Ireson Latin Band. Mrs. Alina Ramirez and the talented musicians have celebrated with us our Independence Day throughout the years. They are accompanied by a special guest, Mr. Erick Guansing, who performed Singapore's national anthem previously, and will delight us with his skillful voice once again. Enjoy the show!
tengo miedo a perderte después. Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho. Tal vez mañana yo ya estaré lejos, muy lejos de ti. Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho. Después. Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón. En el alma solo tengo soledad. Y si ya no puedo verte, porque Dios me hizo quererte para hacerme sufrir. Siempre fuiste la razón de mi existir. Adorarte para mí fue religión. Y en tus besos yo encontraba el calor que me brindaba, el amor y la pasión. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida, apagándola después. Ay, qué vida tan oscura. Siempre fuiste la razón de mi existir. Adorarte para mí fue religión. En tus besos yo encontraba el calor que me brindaba, el amor y la pasión.
hermosa. Besar tus labios quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera, malagueña salerosa, y decirte hermosa. Eres linda y hechicera, eres linda y hechicera como el canto de una rosa. Yeah. Si por pobre me desprecias, yo de concedo razón, yo de concedo razón. Si por pobre me desprecias, yo no te ofrezco riquezas, te ofrezco mi corazón, te ofrezco mi corazón a cambio de mis pobrezas. Salerosa, besar tus labios quisiera, besar tus labios quisiera, malagueña salerosa, y decirte hermosa. Eres linda y hechicera, será como el canto de una rosa, como el candor de una rosa. Y llegó el rey, señores. ¡Viva México! Yo sé bien que estoy afuera, pero el día que yo me muera, sé que tendrás que llorar. Dirás que no me quisiste, pero vas a estar muy triste y así te vas a quedar. Con dinero y sin dinero hago siempre lo que quiero y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. Una piedra en el camino me enseñó que mi destino era rodar y rodar. Rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar. Después me dijo un arriero que no hay que llegar primero, sino hay que saber llegar. ¡Ay, ay, ay! Con dinero y sin dinero hago siempre lo que quiero y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. ¡Échale nomás! ¡Viva México! voz de la guitarra mía. Al despertar la mañana, quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana. Yo le canto a sus volcanes, a sus praderas y flores, que son como talismanes del amor de mis amores. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti. ¡Ay, ay, ay! ¡Que viva México, Bombay! Que me entierren en la sierra, al pie de los magueyales, y que me cubra esta tierra, que es tierra de hombres cabales. Voz de la guitarra mía, al despertar la mañana, quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti. ¡Viva México, señores!
The Embassy of Mexico in Singapore would like to express our deep appreciation towards the National Museum of Singapore, SEA Group, and Grupo KB. Without the generous support and sponsorship, this event would not have been possible. We also want to share a list of some of the best representatives of Mexican gastronomy in Singapore. We hope you have enjoyed the music and performance at the comfort of your home. Felices Fiestas Patrias y ¡Viva México! Good night and muy buenas noches.